To change the valve direction of open, begin by depressurizing the line. Once you're certain the valve is isolated from pressure, proceed to remove the operating nut, cap screw, and washer. Once these are off, lift the operating nut away from the stem and loosen and remove the two hex nuts from the top of the follower plate. With these gone, lift the follower plate up and away from the stem and cover. Check to make sure that the O-ring on the underside of the follower plate is in place and in good condition. With that completed, you're ready to remove the stem itself. Do so by turning the stem in the direction of open until it threads off the valve and set it aside. Continue to remove the cover, also known as the bonnet of the valve, by loosening and then removing the hex bolts and nuts. With all the bolts removed, the cover can be lifted away from the body, exposing the inside of the valve and giving you access to the wedge and stem nut. With the inside of the valve exposed, remove the stem nut and replace it with one of opposite thread pattern, aligning the wedge so that the stem nut opening is as perpendicular to the flow as possible. This will aid in stem replacement later on. Verify that the O-ring on top of the body is in place and undamaged as you grease and clean the seating surface. After this is done, you can begin to reinstall the cover. Start by placing the cover on the body and aligning the bolt holes of the cover with those of the body. Insert the hex bolts and nuts into the corresponding holes, leaving them loose in case you need to shift the cover. The next step will be to verify the placement of O-rings and thrust bearings, and, using manufacturer-approved grease, lubricate along their threads. Proceed to lower the new stem through the opening of the cover until you feel the threads impact the previously aligned stem nut. Turn the stem in the new direction of close for this valve until it begins to raise the wedge in the body. To replace the follower plate, first reinsert the two bolts on top of the cover. After lubricating the follower plate O-ring, align the stem and bolt openings and lower the plate until it's seated against the cover. Install the two nuts and tighten to the proper specification, alternating in a cross pattern to ensure even tightness and to prevent binding of the stem. Install the new operating nut, red for open right or black for open left. Insert the hex bolt and washer and tighten. Operate the valve by turning the stem sufficiently to verify smooth operation. If excess tightness is found, loosen the nuts on top of the follower plate and make sure they are retorqued evenly. You can now reapply pressure to the line and check for leaks and proper valve function. This completes changing direction of open of the Clow Resilient Wedge Valve.